He's creepy.
He's so creepy. The
Yeah.
way that he like sternly looks at her and then smiles in the most
It's kind of weird.
like Disney villain kind of way.
Hi, I'm Dr. Richard Carrier, and you are watching Atheist Edge.
Okay.
Courtney, that was alarming.
Yeah, that was.
In the interest of full disclosure, I believe some of your audience have met me before, and I fly corporate jets for a living.
Oh.
I do not, however, fly televangelists. I fly business clients, yeah. So I have some insight.
Oh
He wouldn't say how much he spent on his jet.
Okay.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but...
Isn't it the business of your donors?
Listen, I paid. You kind of caught me off guard here, okay?
But I'm just
So Owen, how much do you think he spent?
between $15 and $20 million for that
Million.
one.
Million.
But that's his third
Easy.
jet.
Well, and she made the comment or the question. You know, I think that your donors deserve to know how much you spend on these types of things.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the prosperity gospel people,
He is.
Yes.
right?
He is.
Yes.
He is.
So she asked him directly. Again, the link's going to be in the description of this video, so
Yeah.
you can watch it yourself.
Sure.
For one thing, he's so fucking creepy.
He's creepy.
He's so creepy.
creepy.
The way that he like sternly looks at her and then smiles in the most
kinda weird.
like Disney villain kind of
Yeah.
way.
He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
Well, my question then, okay, all right, but I want to get to the demons because people are very concerned about that comment.
Give me a chance here, Inside Edition. I love your eyes.
Okay.
It's so
Disney
creepy.
villain. That's a really good way of
He's
describing
so
it.
Disney
Yeah.
villainy.
He's
Oh, it's gross.
he's creepy.
Yeah, his eyes are so piercing.
You wonder if he's ever read the verse in Matthew that says it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than for a rich
Then
man.
for a rich man to
to
enter
get into
into
heaven.
the kingdom of heaven.
But neither here nor there. When the rich young ruler comes up to Jesus and he says, "Teacher, what must I do to find eternal life?" And Jesus says, "Sell everything you own and give it to the poor." Clearly, he didn't have Kenneth Copeland in mind.
Yeah.
Kenneth Copeland owns his Gulfstream 5, which is a jet capable of taking off in Dallas and flying to, I don't know, pick a place, Paris, without stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
It's so big inside that you could seriously throw a football around in the cabin. I mean, it's
Jeez.
big.
Yeah. So the thing that disturbs me most about this guy is not how much money he's spending from his donors' contributions, which is horrifying because these people do not have the financial ability a lot of the time to contribute as much as they do, and he's completely abusing that power. One second, Jim. So the thing that disturbs me the most is the fact that his message tells people that don't have what he has that they deserve that status. Because what he's saying is the concept of prosperity gospel is if you are a virtuously believing person,
Yeah.
then you will be showered with all of these gifts. If you are an honest believer and you kind of, if you plant the seed of your faith and truly believe in this message, then you will get that back. And you see the same thing with the message of The Secret of like whatever you put out, you'll get back.
Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
So the concept is that when things happen to someone, that is what they deserve.
Right.
And so if you turn that on its head and say, well, does that mean that when bad things happen to someone, they deserve that?
If you have cancer, if you've spent your life's fortune on trying to help yourself through a sickness or a disability.
Yeah.
If you lost your job, you deserve the things that happen to you.
Right. It's horrifying. It's
Right.
this horrible thing of like blaming someone for the bad things that happen to them. It's the classic like blaming the victim.
That's exactly what it is. It's victim blaming, and it's victim blaming motivated by trying to persuade them that if they give the money to the preacher figure, that their luck will change.
Yeah, and you see the same thing with the concept of like karma and reincarnation.
Right.
Of like, you know, you must have done something in your life to be born into this part of the
To
caste
deserve
system.
this, right?
Yeah, it's horrifying. Jim, what's up?
Robert Tilton, Joel Osteen, Creflo Dollar, Benny Hinn, and who's this fuck? What's his name?
Kenneth Copeland.
Which is right here in town, right?
So he's local. He's over in Fort Worth. He owns his own airport.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, we could drive 20 minutes and probably be at his airport. He's right here.
Yeah. Fly over it all.
The majority, what gets me is the majority of the people that donate to him are pensioners on a fixed income
Right.
with like Social Security money, and they're bleeding them dry.
Yeah.
It's unthinkable. Sorry, that's all I had to say. That.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and
it's despicable.
It's awful. And so there's this concept that, you know, the more money you give them, the more you'll get back, the more prosperity you'll get back. And it's just like, you know, putting all your money in the lottery.
Can you explain what you meant by that term then? Just explain, because it's really simple. You said you didn't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. What did you mean?
Well, let me ask you. Galatians chapter 3. If you belong to Christ, then are you Abraham's seed and heirs according to his promise. And his promise was great wealth. Glory to God. I love Inside Edition. I love the people on it. And it thrills me to get a chance to have my face on Inside Edition.
Thank you
I
very
love
much,
you,
Reverend.
girl.
You have a nice day.
Yeah.
And it's so horrible. And they're not even doing anything to create prosperity for these people. Like, they're not doing anything
Right.
to give anything back.
They're not providing any tools, not providing any education.
Right, they're not giving resources. All they're doing is giving this false message that if you give me money, I
get more.
have a direct line to God that you do not possess, and I know what He's going to give back to you. Yeah.
As a child, I can remember being 7 or 8 years old, and in the mornings before I would leave to go to school, probably first grade, I would watch the 700 Club in the mornings. It was what was on TV. And at the time, what do you know when you're 7? It's on TV. My parents have put it there. That's what we're watching. I remember watching Jim and Tammy Faye Baker asking for money, and I remember asking my mother if I could send my $5. I had a $5 bill that I got from my grandparents for Christmas, and I asked, "Can I send this to these guys for my my contribution?" And I remember my parents saying, "Yeah, you can do that if you want to. Good for you." So, good for you. And I found out later that Jim Baker wound up paying hush money to some woman to not talk about having had an affair. And I remember somebody saying, "Oh, I wonder if your $5 got paid to that woman." And a couple of years later, right, I'm approaching this age of reason, and we were talking about it. All of the sudden, the cognitive dissonance really starts to kick in, and you start to ask, "What in the world did I do that for?" I can't ever unring the bell. I can't get that money back.
Yeah.
So I had a very bad experience with televangelists starting at an early age, and it's interesting for me to look at this, and I want to talk about corporate aviation for just a second.
Yeah.
So I love the work that I do. I can't imagine ever going back to do a more conventional sort of office job. I love what I do.
I would not want to do anything else.
I love it, but
Oh yeah, TJ does that too.
I do the same.
Corporate
fucking thing.
aviation,
Yeah.
from a different angle.
there's a fascinating. So we've got to talk about social justice. So there's a fascinating disparity in my line of work between the wealth, the almost ridiculous degree of wealth that my clients have compared to the non-wealth at some of the destinations we fly to. And I can tell you, that adjacent to the La Paz International Airport in Baja California, just literally a stone's throw away on the other side of a fence, there's a shanty town where people are living in sort of mock-up cardboard boxes, and not 200 yards away are multi-million dollar business jets. And you know what? I fly in there and I take good care of my passengers and I do a good job, and I earn a very good livelihood. But in my line of work, this is something that has helped me to grow as a progressive and to grow as a liberal, because before I really was traveling the world seeing that kind of wealth disparity, it when it's not on your radar, when that's not something you have to confront as a practical reality of your day-to-day life, it's easy not really to think about that. And so in my line of work, I really experienced something that I think people who are watching the Ken Copeland video and watching us talk about this maybe are really only experiencing for the first time.
Yeah.
The wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots worldwide is significant and increasing.
Yeah.
And at some point, we take a step back from that as thinking people, and we say, you know what, there is a social justice problem here, there is a justice problem here, and we have to work as humanists on how to fix that.
Yeah, and so the concept of like #blessed is an extremely privileged position,
Right.
And privileged perspective.
You don't have a Gulfstream 5 to fly from Dallas to Chicago. That's not why you have a Gulfstream 5. You have a Gulfstream 5 to fly from Dallas to Singapore.
Yeah.
You have a Gulfstream 5 to fly from Fort Worth to Beijing. Okay, that's why
We
you
are
have a
so
Gulfstream 5.
fortunate to have you on the show.
Trust me. And so, yes, you are. But I love doing it. So and I'm free. So I'm not.
And free advertising.
Right.
So it's a win-win.
I'm cheap. I'm not easy,
No.
but I'm cheap.
You're not easy, but you are
Right.
cheap.
It's the opposite for my aviation clients. I'm easy, but I'm not cheap. The reason to use Gulfstream 5 is to fly you to anywhere in the world that you want to go without stopping for pedestrian things like getting gas.
Yeah.
You just go.
Yeah.
And then you get off your airplane and you walk into whatever resort you go into.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter where you go. Wherever you go,
There you are.
You're flying. This is profound.
Yeah.
You're flying
Thank you.
someplace where there's ridiculous natural beauty. And lots of poor people who are living just outside the wall of your compound.
When I was in India, I was confronted face to face with very, very extreme poverty, and I was a Christian at the time. This idea of prosperity gospel is saying that the people in India deserve what they do and don't have, and it's horrible. It's a really horrible thing.
I absolutely agree.
Just because they were born in a certain place and have a certain level of opportunity, they live and die in that level of poverty, and there's nothing they can do about it. And that's the idea of prosperity gospel, is that there is a just God who doles out prosperity to those who deserve it, and it's just a completely backwards idea of the idea that people deserve what they get in life.
This is interesting. It's one of the poisonous ideas that goes back to the earliest Christianity. The earliest Christians were the slaves. They were the servants.
Yeah.
They were the disenfranchised. They were the ones with illiterate, with no education.
The ones that didn't have anything that they could do.
A televangelist with ridiculous wealth, and I'm disgusted by it. I think you share that.
And he just flat out denies his comment of the demons thing. Like, he just completely backtracks and refuses to admit that that's what he said,
That's
or
exactly what he said.
or comment on what he meant by that. He never says what he meant by that. He never clarifies that message. And so he's just a horrible person.
Dishonesty on full display.
Yeah.
And that's televangelism for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.